Hey guys, thanks for joining me, and if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hi friends, welcome to Sharp Ends. Today I'm going to do a little comparison video of the ProTech SBR and the Rockeye. The Rockeye is designed by Les George, and it's a collaboration. He makes a. If you've seen one of his blades, you will know him. Just like a lot of other designers, they have a certain kind of aesthetic, and you can recognize it. If you like it, you'll love it. The Rockeye is an automatic knife made by ProTech. It's extraordinarily strong, and the action on it is just out of this world. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy it. I mean, it just shoots out there. The SBR stands for Short Bladed Rockeye. So it's just a shorter version. So these are both semi-exclusive. This was a Blade HQ exclusive with the Ultim scale on it. I really like Ultim a lot. There was a moment there where I was buying a lot of Ultim. Right now, I've kind of backed off on that trend, but I still really appreciate this Rockeye, and I think it's great. This Rockeye is S35VN, which is a good-to-go steel. Here's Les George's symbol, which I really like. There's a little bit of mineral oil still on this blade because I just did that. DLC coatings are slightly impregnable, so every now and then I will, to make it look shinier, or to get the coating to look less dull sometimes after a lot of use, I will put a little bit of food grade mineral oil on it. And I just did that for this blade. This was an exclusive from who was this an exclusive from? From EDC Gearhouse. They have this midnight blue finish to their blades. This is CPM D2, which is very, it's a steel which a lot of people dislike because they're like, well, if they're going to make a premium blade and they call it a premium steel, it should not be the CPM D2. And I can't really argue with that. Do I wish this was even, S30 VN? Yes. But the CPM version of this is powder metallurgy from Crucible powder metallurgy. So made with much finer, smaller particles, and it gives the steel a much finer grain structure. So it's not, it's still D2, but it's a much better D2 for a blade like this that is kind of an exclusive, right? And it has this beautiful inlay. This is also a really hard to get model right now. The Rockeye is very, very in demand and hard to get. I don't mind the CPM D2 because honestly, this is going to be a knife that I definitely wear and use, but it's not something that if I'm in the backyard and I need to open a bunch of bags of fertilizer, I'm probably going to use a Spyderco or a hard use knife. The Rockeye is definitely supposed to be a hard use tactical knife, but in this mode and put together like this, it's not something that I'm going to use in that way. I might get a Rockeye in the future, which is more utilitarian, but I just like the aesthetics of this knife. And sometimes what brings you joy are the aesthetics rather than the practicality of something. This knife is still very practical, and I could hard use it, and it would be totally fine. I really like the inlay on this button. As far as I'm side to side, you can see that the SBR is definitely a lot smaller, and I've carried this knife a ton, and it's great. The clips here are ProTech standard type clips. However, this one is a little bit smaller. This one's a little bit bigger. This actually feels a little bit too big. I think I would like to get a replacement clip for this, and I will look into that. Les George was in, I believe it was the Marines, definitely the military, and his aesthetic and the way that he made this was as kind of a ode to military type knives. You've got this jimping up here, which is not aggressive as far as like sharp ends or anything like that, but it's nice and big, and I appreciate that. You can put your thumb here and it feels okay. The action on these, like I said, are incredible. Now, you can test a good action on an automatic by just pushing the button lock down a little bit, taking the blade, and just go back like, I don't know, a third, just a little bit like that. And if it pops straight out like that, that means you've got a really good, strong action. I will say that that action will eventually degrade over time. And I'll show you what I mean. I've had this knife for, I don't know, a while. I've had it for at least since last summer. Maybe it was spring. I can't quite remember when I picked this up. It was the very first drop, or maybe it was the second drop they ever did of the Ultim scale version of the SBR. But I've carried it a lot. And if I do that same test here and I pull it back, oh, huh. You know what I think happened? So I think I put the mineral oil and some of the mineral oil got in here. But before, when I just did this test before, it wasn't doing that. But now it is. I think maybe it's time to take this guy apart and clean it out. Maybe I've just worn it so much that it's got kind of gritty. And if I look inside here, you can maybe see behind the Ultim scale a little bit of grit and dirt. So maybe it's just time to take this apart. I was about to say that the spring had worn down a little bit, but see, it's not, well, yeah, it's not quite as springy as this guy. So maybe I just need to take that apart and clean it out. Or maybe the spring is degraded a little bit. But, oh, I mean, that feels really strong. So the SBR, yeah, I'm a big fan of this model. I like it a lot. I like Les George's aesthetic. I like the blade shape a lot. These are both screaming sharp. I really like ProTech. And I'm always excited to buy a new ProTech. So cool. Thanks, guys. That's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this comparison of the short-bladed Rockeye and the full-size Rockeye. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you enjoyed what you saw, I'd really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. And if you did not like it, please unsubscribe and dislike. So, yeah, have a good one, guys, and I'll see you next time on Sharp Ends.